So, John, I've got you and Laura on. Is that correct?
Yes.
There's several of us. Keosha, Jessica, Rusty.
They're just by video or by audio, I guess.
Okay, gotcha. No makeup today.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
I didn't put my makeup on either. All right, cool. All right, so CMA. Let me get my audience correct here. Who has a listing?
No.
I'm working on one right now, trying to get one right now. We're actually working on putting a CMA together.
I'm also working on one.
Okay, good. No, we're gonna work with that. Right now, I was going to show you some of my listings, but I'd much rather work on yours to be real, to equip you to go toe-to-toe. Sounds like a fight, doesn't it? With the seller. And so at this and I'm going to pull up a notepad. Actually, while that's thinking, I'm going to show you a doc of afterwards of, for example, who are receiving an offer on your listing, since we don't write to listings, and we're going to go to the buyer side of comparative market analysis as well. In fact, you'll see this lender qualification. Can you see that on the screen?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, these are questions that before I would ever execute a contract is that I'm going to call the lender on that. And I want to make sure that my audio is coming through clean. Is it?
It's body.
Is it? Just ask me to repeat if it goes wacko. Sometimes Zoom is working good on my audio and sometimes not. And so, for example, how long has he been in business? How solid is the pre-qual? Those would be some easy questions there. And then, Mr. Lender, your client, Mr. and Mrs. Smith, has sent me an offer to their agent, John Smith. And, yeah, they're all related, right? Have you run this through the automated system? And again, I'm going to send this to you so you don't have to copy this down.
Okay.
And the automated system refers to the two primary systems in the U.S. that are automated underwriting. So it's doing a quick check on the buyer to make sure that they have the basic parameters of being approved. And I'll give you the point why this is. Let's go back a few years. I've been doing this for 15 years. I'm in the top 2% realtors in Tarrant County. So here I have this. I'm the listing guy for a house in North Richland Hills, a couple $100,000, and the day of closing comes, and I'm continuing to go, hey, Mr. Lender, what's cooking? Are we going to close or what? And he says, we just realized that the buyer already has an FHA loan, and by the way, you cannot have two FHA loans at the same time, and he wasn't going to sell his other home. And so all that comes in to go, what? And here's the point. A smart lender would have said during his interview of the client, he would have done that big thing of, let's figure out your debt to income ratio, your FICO score, etc. Do you have a home to sell? Oh, you do. And you're going to sell it, right? and it's an FHA loan or conventional or a VA. And so bottom line, the automated system have told him right up front, and not all lenders run it through the automated system. That's what I'm going to tell you. So I'm going to ask. And number two, or number one, credit report from all three repositories. Have you gotten that? Have you gotten the bank statements to show sufficient funds to close the loan, meaning both down payment and closing costs? And are they seasoned funds? We're not talking salt and pepper here. We're talking that it has to be in a certified account, whether it be a 401k, a savings, a checking, trust, wherever it's sitting. It cannot be mattress money, in other words. It has to be there for 60 days. Any questions so far?
No.
Oh, that's good.
And then have you received the most recent pay stubs in the last 2 years of income tax returns? And now, by the way, it's changed to the last W-2. It's changed a little bit in the last couple of weeks. So you can just get a W-2 instead of the complete income tax returns. That's a whole lot less faxing and scanning, isn't it?
Yeah.
And then you ask them, are there monthly income and debt ratios within guidelines for the loan terms? And do they have a house to sell? Oh, I just wrote that North Richland Hills deal, didn't it? So the point is, these are all non-invasive. These are not privacy invasive. And if a lender says that to you, I want to say something like, shove it, but I won't, because I had this vetted by a lender that's been in the business 25 years and had 30 loan officers working for him. And so these are basic questions, not revealing numbers or credit scores or anything. So before you accept or execute a contract, you go, okay, I need to talk to the lender. What do you guys think about what I just shared on lender qualification?
Well, it'd be nice to know whether it keeps you from wasting time on something that you can't get done, regardless of how hard you work.
That's correct. And you're not going to tie up the property under a crappy lender and contract. Cool. Okay, so let's jump back over here. Now, what the heck? For some reason, my pull this up. All right, so that was from a referral. I was getting a referral for, actually I was sponsoring a guy out in Los Angeles, and the team leader said, oh, I have a daughter, just sit down please. I have a daughter that's moved out to Hazlet, and she's renting right now, but she's going to want to buy. How can you guys make $2,500 for 30 minutes worth of work? Do you know how?
Being part of a referral, but I don't know how exactly.
Okay. I'm just going to share that since her name was just the one I pushed down out of screen. This Michelle Fry. So as it says there, married a year ago, whiskey distillery, blah, blah, blah. And so ultimately, when I hear that, I ask my potential seller or buyer, the seller, where are you moving to? Oh, you're moving to Virginia or to Vietnam. Or the buyer, oh, do you have a house to sell in LA where you are? Great. I can do a free service for you that will give you an expert realtor. So here's step one. What I'm going to do, Mr. Buyer or seller, whoever's got something to sell or buy, is that I could say, okay, what area of LA is your house in that you want to sell, or where is it that you want to move to in LA? Okay, great. So in Torrance, super. What price range are you looking at? Okay, so those are the two primary questions I'm going to ask. Number two is that, well, Mr. Seller or Buyer, what I'm going to do is a free service for you where I'm going to call the team leader or the general manager, is what we would call it in Keller Williams. Since we're the largest in the world, we have network all over the US and the world. So I'm going to call the team leader, and you can also do this through the referral network, and Tammy may have covered this, of going, I'm going to call them and tell them, I'm going to go to the referral network under command, and I'd have to show you that, but I'm not going to do that now, but ask her about how you find the market centers in an area. And then I'm going to find the market leader in the Torrance, California area, call them and go, hey, I need a great listing agent or a buyer's agent for this price range. Got a client selling or buying there. And they go, okay, boom, here. They know who their people are. And then next step is I call that agent and just kind of do a quick bio interview. How long in the business? Do you have a team? You can tell on the command network what kind of volume they're doing. And at that point, you kind of get a feel for them. And then at that point, if you feel comfortable with them, if you don't, you go back to the team leader and go, either they called me back or I didn't enjoy them as much as I thought. You give me at that point, you now qualified the person that you do like, call the buyer or seller and say, here, you interview them, and they'll probably go, well, if you said they're good, they're good. And at that point, you can fill out a form, ask me about the referral form, and you would say, let's just do this. You ask the agent when you're interviewing them, hey, are you okay with 25%? They'll automatically know what you mean. So what that means then is that, let's see, I'm going to do the calculator. Where'd you go? Yeah, my icons are all over the place there. Is that at that point, if they're buying a $600,000 home or selling a $600,000 home in California, here's what 25% means. Okay, so let's just say that the commission rate is 3%, so it's $18,000 bucks. And so if you get 25% of that, it's $18,000. Then they're going to send you a check when it's closed for $4,500. Okay, so it's $4,500 for 30 minutes.
Mm.
Do you think you should get good at referral?
Yeah.
All right. Any questions on that, guys?
No.
All right, cool. Okay, let's go back to CMA. What's a CMA? That's a comparative market analysis. In other words, we might call it a value analysis. Whichever term you want to play, you certainly don't want to say to your client, I'm going to do a CMA, because you're now talking Greek. Use real words, key point, right? So, John, was it you that's working on getting a listing?
Yeah, she's trying to decide whether she wants to do it now or wait a few weeks. But yes, I'm trying to put together everything for her now.
Right. What's the address?
You cut out, I'm sorry.
What's the address?
It's 11733.
Whoops, I may have missed that.
11733. Buckthorn.
Buckthorn?
Yeah, one word. It's one word, yeah. Thorn Drive.
Keep going.
It's Fort Worth, 76108.
76108?
Uh-huh.
All right, cool. All right, so we're going to jump right into this. And here's the primary point why, and I started in 2005, that I show up the first day that I'm active. And I tell the broker for that location at Prudential up in South Lake, so I need some help. The guy in my Sunday school class, he owns 10 rental houses and he wants to sell his primary house, very nice house. So do you think I wanted to look good?
Yes.
And look competent? Competent would be good, right? And so he said, well, I'm sure we'll have a class pretty soon. How would you react?
Mm,
You cut out halfway through that. You said you want to look competent, yes, and then what?
She said, I'm sure we'll have a class in a few weeks. How would you respond?
A few weeks isn't going to work. I'm working on this now.
yeah. Too late. Yeah.
She grabs a guy that walks through the door. He's a home builder, but just got his license. And she says, hey, can you show him how to do a CMA? And so we walk over to the computers, and he couldn't remember how to log into the MLS. Right now, you guys may have to look at notes to do that, but normally you don't. So my focus on CMA really began with that event because I had to figure it out myself because he wasn't worth anything. And I took 2 of their CMA classes back to back, like 1 month and then the next month after that anyway, so I could figure out how to do it right. And then I actually took the instructor, oh wait, here's a hint. I took her out to lunch the 3rd time, I'm just messing with, and said, I think I've got it. Did I do it all right? And she was doing it by paper and pencil at the time, so I'm going to show you how not to do that. So ultimately, that became super important because your buyer is wondering what kind of offer to make, right? He wants to be cheap, doesn't he? Just like buying a used car or something crazy. Well, that won't work here. And the seller wants to make the most amount of money, so he wants to start high. True?
Right.
So we need to be confident in numbers in order to give them guidance. So here's where we're gonna go. We're gonna go to the MLS. Let's just go ahead and use this guy. Anybody have any questions at the moment?
No.
You're good?
Yeah.
There is a tool here. Let me move that out of the way. There's a tool called RoboForm, which is very, very helpful. And it's free for the first 10 logins. But bottom line, it will memorize your logins. There we go. So you notice it just filled out the login and password for me and pressed enter for me. All right, so we're going to take that address that we're working on, and we're going to do 2 things. When we pull it up in the MLS, we're going to go to search and quick. Yours may look a little bit different than mine. Oops, I hit that too quick. And the question is that people don't realize where to put that address. Most people will come in down here under street numbers, street name, etc. Not good. That's when you're searching for a specific property.
Okay.
But when we do CMA, we want to find the comps. Here's a new term for you. On doing a value analysis A fair market value is the other term I was thinking of, actually. Fair market value. We specialize in divorce real estate, and so as a result of that, we tend to use the common court terms and law terms. So ultimately, up here in the top box, that's where you're going to paste that, and then MLS will automatically start to look, and we go, oh, that one. In fact, let me just make sure that I've got that number correct. John, was that 11733?
Yes.
Are you
Say
putting
again?
it where the magnifying glass is, the first little search bar with the question mark, or are you putting it where it says search?
Can you see where I'm pasting it? It's at the top, right under the word selected. See that?
Okay, mine doesn't say map search. It just says search.
Do you see where I've pasted in 11733 Buckhorn?
I
In
do.
blue? That's where you paste it.
My screen doesn't have that.
Let's make sure you started at the same place I did. You go up to search and you go down quick. Is that what you did?
Okay, under residential.
Great. And by the way, for anybody that wants to maintain any voice privacy, the easy way to put your system on mute is to do an Alt-A. Hold down Alt and smack A once, and that will put your system on mute. And then when you want to speak, just do Alt-A again, and it will unmute you. Any questions? Okay. So, John, verify with me that I've got the correct street number, 11733.
Yes.
For some reason, it's not finding it.
It's 108 right there.
Right, and the challenge is for some reason it's not finding the actual address, but that's okay. That's okay. So what we're going to do is probably search about a half a mile around. Follow me so far?
Yep.
And then the next thing we're going to do, and it's going to be kind of interesting because I'll teach you how to fix this. We're going to go ahead and click on Realist Tax at the top. Everyone see that?
Yes.
All right. So click on that, and it will open a new window. Is everybody using Chrome, or is somebody using something else on browser?
I have Chrome.
I have Chrome also.
Yeah, mine's Chrome.
All right, good.
I have a question real quick, John. If you're doing a rural property, do you need to search obviously further out than half a mile, correct?
Say that.
If you're trying to do a CMA on a rural property, you need to go further out than half a mile, correct?
Oh yeah. Because you're often going to have to find acreage.
Mm-hmm.
We'll touch on that here in a moment as well. We'll
Okay.
give that a try. Bring that back up to me, Buckthorn. We'll play rural property because there's an art to doing something that we go, well, we need to figure out how much the house is worth based upon its size and age and so forth.
Yes, sir. That's the one I'm working on right now, and it's difficult just because it's hard to find. You can't find the same thing.
Bingo. And so then phase 2 of that, phase 1 is to figure out what the house is worth just on typical lots in that area. And then you go, okay, how much is pure dirt worth? Right?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
And so if it's 8 acres on it, I need to go find out how much is 8 acres of bare dirt. And it then depends upon whether there's maybe electric, water. That really goes with the house then. But we'll quantify the house and then the cost of dirt, which typically is like 12 to 20,000 bucks an acre. But when you're in development area, then it starts getting 50, 60, 70,000 bucks an acre.
Mm-hmm.
That has utilities. So we'll go back there. All right.
Okay.
So you notice that we punched in the address up here, and I pressed enter. And we'll come down here to Buckthorn, And it thinks I already clicked on it, but I didn't, but it looks magical. Okay, hey, so it did find 11733 Buckburn. So Realist is an additional tool that's better to go to than TAD or tarrantappraisaldistrict.org because it gives you just far more information. So bottom line, we know that the building square feet, is this a brand new house, John?
Yeah, it's a year old. I had to go to TAD to get the square footage.
Yep, good job, way to go. Because this unusual, I never found that it wasn't here. So you did good by doing that. Somebody had to report it. Now, I don't know why it's not being reported to Realist, because Realist is usually up to snuff. But part of, since I'm here, I'm going to share with you is that you go, hey, what does TAD say it's worth? You know, like I could give a rip. I don't. But it's just kind of helpful because people are going to tell you, well, Zillow says this and TAD says that. And I go, hold on. I wouldn't do anything blunt like say I could give a rip. I'm going to go, appraisers and realtors don't use that value because when I represented my own family law attorney, he's going, John, I want to protest my taxes. We actually prep for that, go down to the TAD offices, and they go, oh, no, we'll pull values from the last 3 to 6 months. We go based on the last 18 months. Oh, really? Okay, I can see we've got a new guy.
Oh.
There, he's connecting to audio. Oh, we lost him. Okay, but that's just kind of helpful to know. But then here's the point, is that the tax value. Did you know that a lender, in order to get an accurate quote for a monthly payment to a buyer, needs to know what's the taxes on buckthorn? So when you're on the buyer side, you need to be able to feed the lender, hey, it's $79.60 a year, and then he'll figure out a rough estimate on the insurance, and then he'll pull his principal and interest values, and boom. Okay, but we got Chawander on there. Okay, maybe not. Okay, we see you. So that's where you're going to pull that number, the current tax year total. That's where you need to get that because sometimes the MLS will have it, sometimes it won't, as far as what's called unexempt values. Okay, let's jump back over here. So, John, since you've done this work, the two things that I want here is I want, it's kind of helpful, we're actually using a whiteboard, kind of like this. I want the square footage.
1909.
And I want, let's say that again.
1909.
Okay, so that's the square footage. And the age, is that 2018 or 19?
It's 19.
What was it again, please?
It was built in 18. It was sold in 19.
Okay, we're going to go with the build date. All right, so those are the two critical parameters, not bedrooms, bathrooms. Sometimes, of course, we need to know if they stuck a pool in, et cetera, is the primary stuff.
No.
So
problem.
what we're doing, right, no pool. Okay, here's what it's going to look like. In our search parameters, in this range of 2,000 or less, we're going to go with about 200 square foot plus or minus. So what that means, we're going to search for in total square feet 1709 to 2109. So put a hyphen in between them. Questions on that one?
No.
And then we're going to go down to your build. And since our year build is in the 18, stuff that's within the last 10 years. Let's see, I'm going to say, well, I'll just put it like this. The last 10 years of 2020 back to 2010, right? And these I've just pulled out of the air some days, but because I've grilled so many appraisers but I've only failed one appraisal in 15 years that I was confident of, but I failed on that one. So now, what does this mean that we're going to do? We're going to do a plus or minus of 3 years. Okay, good so far? All right, so here's what that interprets to. You would probably say, well, then that means 2015 to, well, plus, because 2018 plus 3 is 2021. So we're going to take it all the way through to new. But bottom line, here's an important point, is that right now that home has been lived in, right, John?
Yeah, just barely under a year. It'll be a year this month.
And the key is it's been lived in, period.
Right.
It doesn't matter.
Right. Yeah. It's not a new home. Yeah.
That's right. So at that point, we will not take a home that's been lived in and compare it to a brand new build that says never been lived in.
Right.
So we'll look at it like that too. So 2015 plus, by the way, when you click on the little, or when you hover over the question mark, this tells you how to do what I just did, right? Whether it's 2000-2010 for a range, or 2010 plus for 2010 or later, and the same thing with a square foot. Okie doke. Okay, now in the lower left corner right here, you see 12 meshes. Tell me if I left anybody in the dust that's trying to say up.
I'm sorry.
Are you following? Did I leave anybody in the dust for those that are trying to follow?
Not yet.
Not yet. Carol, Laura, you doing okay? Just nod your head if you are. Okay, good. All right. So, oftentimes that's great to math.
So you're showing 12.
Right.
Okay. Right now I'm only showing 6 that are pulling from mine.
Okay, I'm gonna go back to criteria for a moment then, and let's make sure our criteria, we're doing the same stuff. And so, did you do, oh, wait, look at this over here.
Yeah, so you're 180 days, yeah.
Right, and so an appraiser is looking for 2 or 3 that are sold in the last 3 months. You don't have to write this down, but it's helpful. And then the others can be 90 to 180 days. Oh my gosh, I touched my nose. I feel like Joe Biden. Okay, just kidding. So then you also want pending out 0 to 90. You got that one?
Uh-huh. Yeah, I have my sold
You
at
also
0
want
to 90, so should I change that to 0 to 180?
Do exactly what I say. If it shows you, do it. And in fact, once you do, if you had nothing on your screen and you came in here and made all those check marks the same way I do and the numbers the same way I do without any other data appearing in the address or square feet and all that, you can come over here and make that stick. See that little gear up here?
Uh-huh.
When you come in here without any data for an address, etc., then you come in here, hover over the little guy, and then click the top thing that says set currently selected search criteria. It's my starting default. You won't have to do it again.
Okay.
And you'll need to do this on both dirt multifamily, and rental. Just set default parameters on each of these. So when I say that, each of these screens will have different defaults. Any questions?
Got it.
All right, so now when you've done that, do you have 12 now, John?
Yes.
All right, so we're going to go to map. You notice there's a map up there and map down there, and same thing with results. So here, you're going, okay, we're out there on White Settlement, and you can see that this is really tightly defined, in fact. See how it's just really that one subdivision? And so, for example, we're going to zoom in by hitting the plus. And then over here and put your mouse, you see where it'll turn into a dot under the little hand? Do you see the dot?
The
The lower
red
right
dot?
corner. Do you see where my,
Oh, okay.
so it's dot. So then you hold in on your left mouse button and hold down your left mouse button and then move it with your mouse. And let's say, I'm just going to come in there a little tighter there. Sometimes it's hard to tell, even though it shows that there's 12. Let's just go to results. And I'm going to click on, do you see at the top, right above active contingent, do you see status? Click on those headers, we'll call it status, and we'll see that we've got 3 active, 1 active contingent, and we've got 6 solds. You know what? That's the magic number that we're aiming for. It's 6 solds. Cool.
Okay.
Now, the actives, tell me is, again, tell me if my audio is crapping out too much. Just raise your hand or something if you say, repeat that, okay? That way I'll know. And so here's the key, is that we're gonna go up here to the top box, right up here to the left of distance. See that? And that just selected all listings, right?
Mhm.
So here's the definition. The solds are the comparative properties,
Right.
okay? So we're looking for comparables. And when we say comparable to what? Comparable to the square foot and the age, because the appraiser is primarily looking for average in that marketplace. He is not using, for the most part, cost square foot. Helpful?
Yeah.
We're not trying to nail it all the way down to 2109 times $100 a square foot is this much. He's looking for that subdivision. What's going on? Did you have a question? No question, Laura? Okay.
No, I'm good. Thank you.
All right. All right, good. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to do a quick CMA. We're also going to cover cloud CMA in a moment as well. For the real analytical buyers and sellers that want to see the real guts of where we came up with what, we're going to do that. This one is for the pure analytical number guys that are going, just give me the doggone numbers. Or a quick overview. So we clicked on quick CMA. You guys following me on this?
Yep.
So far.
Okay, good. Tell me, I can switch into Spanish if you like. All right. All right, so it's going to ask you to save it. And so I'm going to come over here and go, I'm going to call this, we'll call it the Harrelson CMA. It's helpful to identify what you just did by name, right?
Yeah.
And I always save my stuff in the directory. If you haven't made it to directory and here was under your C drive, by clicking on new folder, instead of using the defaults that they give you of downloads and documents, whatever works for you, but that helps me focus on it easier. All right, so we're going to save that. and then it will come up. And by the way, where it says generating, you can kill that screen by hitting the little X on the tab because it's not going to do anything ever again. So we're going to and in the meantime, I'm going to go down here in the lower left corner of the screen and click on Harrelson Quick CMA. All right. All right, so here's the thing. Right up here at the top, you'll see active. I just double click that. I need to get rid of that. Okay, there we go. All right. So you see the active properties, which means for sale, of course. And here we go. And then we have active contingent property. Can anybody tell me what active contingent means?
There's a contract, but there's a contingency on the contract for sale. So something else is required before the sale can go through.
That is correct. Can you give me an example of maybe some of those contingencies?
Like if the buyer has to sell their other home before they can buy this property and they haven't sold it yet.
That is wrong.
Okay.
Sorry, John. Here's the deal. Active contingent, you'll see down here, contingent through April 30th. He didn't really give any details, but active contingent is normally used for maybe 3 conditions. One, he may go from active option during the inspection time, right? That let's say they finished negotiations on the repairs, okay? So normally you would move from active option to pending. Do you agree?
Right. Active option. Okay, yes.
What's that? Okay. But there are some weirdos, and they're very sharp people. Did I say weirdos? That use active contingent, say it's contingent upon the lender's approval of the formal loan application. Or number 2, it might have been a short sale. I've been through the short sale wars. That means that your offer on my short sale listing is contingent upon the bank that owns the loan that's getting ripped for 20 or 30,000 bucks of short selling short of what it's worth. The owner is begging the lender or the mortgage company to please take $30,000 off this so I can sell this house so you won't foreclose on me. So then that offer is still not good because it's contingent, meaning they can execute it, but it will still be contingent or dependent upon the lender saying, yes, we'll take that offer. Or they may wait a month to figure it out. And so it's not a real contract yet, right? Okay, so those are more normal examples of active contingent. So you say, what do you use for somebody that has a house to sell? Because, let's see, in fact, by the way, you could do a right click on a tab and go, well, I don't want to have to log back into MLS or whatever. You do a right click on your tab, say, click duplicate, and that means it's going to bring up the exact same screen, which is very helpful to keep the same information up some days. But here's where I was with that. Right here on that statuses of searching, you're going to see kickout. Why do I have kickout in there if I'm going to use it as a search to send properties to a buyer? I'm going to use active kickout because a buyer of my house and buyer A has a house to sell, okay? He has to do a one-pager. It's actually other house to sell or something. I can look that up. But it's a one page going, hey, Mr. Seller, I do have another house to sell, and here's the address. And I know that if you notify me, I've specified in there, or my buyer's agent making the offer has, that I may have 1 or 2 or 3 days to respond to you, Mr. Seller, that would be me, that you got another offer that can move faster than I can, or has no house to sell, or maybe he's offering more money and faster. Whatever the value the seller has, then the seller receives another offer from buyer B, and he can say to buyer A, put up or shut up, fish or cut bait. True?
Yeah.
Now we use that the status of that contract on my house that I'm selling is active kickout. So when I send a search, when I set up a search for my buyers, I'm going to include kickout. But when they say, well, what active contingent means, you have to go look into that listing. And in the case of the one that we just looked at, I've got a call on this Carlin Drive. I've got a call Alicia. There's a name for you. Wait, I screwed up and it went to the next one. Let me see where it is. By the way, to get back to your list, this is confusing sometimes. You see where it says agent single line display? Well, that's how you get back to the big list. Okie dokie.
Yeah.
Isn't that a miracle? And so in this case, on active contingent, when they say, can we go see Carlin Drive? Normally it will say here, contingent upon financing or bank or something other than, what if it does say contingent upon sale of home? We know that that agent doesn't have it together. He should be using kickout. Okay? So we might call Talicia and go, what's it really contingent on? If we got another offer that we wanted to send you where they can move faster or higher than what you got, is this really a kick out? But you're really just asking her common sense. Are you guys open to another offer, and would the seller consider it? Good point.
Okay.
Woo, that's a lot of stuff. Sorry. It's the details that can bite. What's that, anybody?
Wait, on the bottom of that other one you just showed, it had a contract date at the bottom also. I don't know.
What is under contract?
Okay.
And
On
it's under an active contingent.
322.
Go ahead. Right?
Okay. All right. Sorry.
Sure, Laura?
Yeah, I'm good now.
Okay. All right, good. Because you can see up here, it's active contingent.
Okay.
So that's where it is technically under a contract. We just don't know what's the problem with why they're listing it as contingent. Are they open to offers or not? Okay. All right. So let's go back to the listing. So now that we've got 6 sold, one of the first things I might look at is you see this column called pool. Well, if I can, I'll avoid comparing against pools if I can, because pools are worth somewhere between 12 to 40,000, and I'll show you a document in a moment that will talk about the values that you place on those unique things. But another key fun thing, the distance thing. If you have a large area that you're kind of covering, then you can look at this distance thing and go, what's closest and what's farthest? In this case, it's really simple, 0.1 to 0.2 mile, right?
Yeah.
So that's helpful to look at. And here, bedrooms and bathrooms might be worth about $2,000 each.
Hmm.
So this one on the top for Dixon, okay, it may be worth about 2,000. But if it's close, 3 and 4 bedrooms, I find the appraisers don't tend to care about that. Same thing with bathrooms are worth maybe about $2,000 on up. As the house gets more expensive, 500,000, 800, $1 million, then the bathrooms and bedrooms get worth a little more. But you're also dealing with a much larger number, so it usually still doesn't seem to make a big deal. Okay, but the key thing is we've got square footage going on. Cool thing. So we are comparing, let's look at our sold properties. And I realize, let's see, I'm going to try and make this a tad bigger. Come on, baby. Okay. All right, so I'm going to go to the right of the screen of the solds. Let's see if it'll let me. There we go. Okay. Let's put you in shoes of the listing agent, and then we're going to go to the buyer's agent after this. So let's explain the CMA. So what does CDOM mean?
Cumulative days on market.
Oh, quit. Are you reading the notes?
No, I just did this I just did this yesterday, so that's it.
What was the C? I got the DOM as days on market, but contingent days on market or?
Oh, no, John had the right answer.
It's cumulative.
Cumulative. Okay, thank you. I didn't hear it.
Yep. So here's what that means, is that if one agent had the house for 30 days and the seller says, oh my gosh, did I make a mistake with this guy? So he kills that and he's with you. And now the next day he puts it on the market with Laura, and now the listing lasted for 30 days over there and 1 day over here, so now it'll have a cumulative days on market of 31 days. So it will accumulate between different agents unless that house is off the market for 31 days. That 32nd day, you put it back on the market, and for the agent that doesn't know where to find the key, it'll look brand new again. Questions? Let's see. So, what's this tell us? Let's see. I'm going to zoom back and forth. You see this 44 right here under the CDOM column?
Yes.
That is the average days on market for it to get to sell or to come under contract. I'm just grilling you here. That is to get under contract. Can stuff sell in 2 days? No.
Yeah.
True? I didn't know that for a long time, okay?
Huh.
All right, so that is the time of how fast stuff is moving in your neighborhood. Could be a high of 47, there's max, there's your minimum. Cool? All right, so, and these are the ones that, hey, these guys are pretty good. They're pretty much in the norm, except for Mr. 87 and maybe 53. But hey, it's pretty darn close. Okay, this is the, Mr. Seller, this is what happens if you overprice your property. If you don't follow my guidelines. I told the seller, I said, I feel like I've got a wildcat on my hands. I need you to pay closer attention to what I'm telling you. Yes, that's what I told her. Like she's just off doing whatever she wants. So this is a sales price versus the list price. So the list price is what you put on the market for, but this is what the sucker actually sold for, which means, Mr. Seller, your price was apparently because there were 2 weeks, but we sold it for $239.
Mm.
All right. Now this guy, he may have had a little bit of bidding going on, but not much.
Wow.
I mean, what, that was $700 more. And okay, so he was maybe 4,500 more on this one, right?
Hmm.
So bottom line, if you price it properly, Mr. Dollar, we're getting real close to what you priced it for. So just follow my lead on this, Mr. Seller. By the way, I'm not the agent that's trying to price you sky high so that I can make a lot of bucks. That's often what people think, Mr. Seller. I'm here to help you get it sold for the most money in the shortest period of time. Is that fair? Right? There you go. Okay, so here's a thing that we don't know. I'm spending some time on this quick CMA. There you are. All right, so here's the point. They go, well, hey, this one on Carlin, he's active contingent. How much is he under contract for? Or under active option? Or under active kickout? Do we know? No, we don't. We don't know what the contract price is, but I guarantee you this, I will be the listing agent. And I could be asking one of two questions. What can you share what that's under contract for? Oh, by the way, that's helpful, but is that real? No, it's not been appraised yet, true?
Right.
Okay. But you could ask them, is an appraisal scheduled? Back then to confirm what it sold for. That's helpful. I just thought of that. I made that up. Number two is that if I'm wondering how long it might really take, hey, Mr. Listing Agent, how many showings do you think you got before you came to a good offer? It's helpful to know what those. You can only find out the showings from the agent. You can tell from a showing time. Okay, these are little tidbits. I hope they're helping you.
Yeah, they're good.
Doug. All right, and by the way, the up here on the active with Carlin, Elko, and Tuscarora. There's a toughie.
You said
what is it?
you said it right, Tuscarora.
That's okay. So, oh, and by the way, we need to make sure. Wait, I just remembered this. Hang on. Okay, we need to make sure that none of these 2019s that are doing our comps on, that none of them, or that all of them have been lived in or against an lived in house. That's number one. Number two, since you've got a house, if you wanted to find out comps on a new subdivision, and they had mostly sold through the sales counselor of D.R. Horton, what are you going to do to find how much they were worth? It's kind of like, isn't it?
Yeah.
I'm sorry, you cut out. You said, what are you going to do? What?
Yeah. What are you going to do since they're mostly sold by the sales counselor at D.R. Horton? You're going to call the D.R. Horton sales rep and say,
Yeah,
can you
you'd
send
have
me
to
your
go to the rep. Yeah. Yeah.
That's right. For this size of house, and be specific, for 19 or 20 or 23, whatever. For that, you don't want to take the whole enchilada for him. But if it's easier for him, let him give you everything. Just ask him what's easy. If I want to do this square footage, can you just send that to me, or is it easier for you to just take your list and send it to me for what you've sold in the last 6 months? Cool. Whew, that was good. So you want to make sure that none of these solds are unlived in. And
There's something on there that tells you that they're new construction, not lived in, because I don't see anything on here.
Yep, hang on just a sec. Let's go take a look. By the way, if you want to look through all of them very quickly, then you highlight all of them and you say print. And then you're going to say agent full. That's the full load right there. And then click preview so it prints the screen. You with me?
Okay.
And that way you don't have to click one by one through the stupid things. So here's what you're looking at. See where it says building plan right there? Oh, wait, sorry. You see new construction over there. That's what I'm looking for. So unlived in, right?
New construction complete, but it has not been lived in yet. Okay.
That is correct.
Got it.
Oh, look, we got pre-owned, right?
Where?
You see that pre-owned, guys?
Yeah, the Tuscarora.
Yeah, so that's lived in. So you can see how much easier this is than going one by one through each other. There's a new construction. There's a pre-owned, and so forth. So that's the key, that you want to make sure you're not comparing John's existing home to a new construction. Righto?
Okay.
Hot dog, I love this stuff. All right. Let's go back out of here. Oh, down here at the bottom. Yeah, so you can click close at the bottom or print, whatever you need. And you're back. And then you click on back to results. You don't have to start over. Back to results, and you're back to your original report. Okay. Tell me what you've gathered so far of thinking, wow, can I do it? Or questions?
Hey, John, quick question. Is when a contract goes pending, is that normally considered confidential, or is it up to the realtor if they want to disclose it to other realtors?
Oh, I meant what I said a while ago. I'm going to call on any of them. If I need to find out what a pending contract price is, I'm going to call and say, would you please share that value? 90% of the time they will.
Okay, so there's nothing that says we can't disclose it, even if it's under contract or pending.
Right. All right. So now let's use the same data that we've already pre-selected stuff on and go to, did somebody have a question? Okay. Now we're going to click on Cloud CMA.
Are you going to get into allotting for larger square footage, smaller square footage? Once we get well, I'll wait for you to get there.
You mean in terms of the search criteria?
No, like as far as pricing the house, but I guess we'll get there when you get done.
We are pricing the house as we speak. Why?
Right. So, like for example, this is a 1909 square footage. So if we're taking, so the average square footage on this is 1944. So this is a little bit smaller home. Are we going to account for the being a little bit smaller home?
No.
Okay.
Yeah. Some of this audio may not have come through. So here's the point, and you're right. I want to thank you for bringing me back to that. What is the doggone price, right? Hey, Mr. Seller, what I'm going to share with you is that the average sold price, you see it's under the sold column, right?
Mm-hmm.
So the average sold price in the last 6 months, oh wait, there's all the sold dates, last 6 months, right? Is that the average price is 51, and you can tell. Oh, did you know that everything that sells under 120 days is what's called a seller's market? Everything above 4 months and out to about 6, maybe even 8 months. Well, 4 to 6 might be a balanced market. Over 6 months would be a buyer's market. So you know, they want to be smart too. And so if you can educate them on that. So now what do we have here? We've got a seller's market, right?
Right.
Okay. And so, because
Wait, you cut out just a little bit. What was the definition of a seller's?
a seller's market is when it sells, go under contract in, I should say, like closing, but when it goes under contract in less than 4 months.
Okay.
4 to 6, balanced. Over 6, buyers. All right, so here's what we're looking at, and John, again, great point. So Mr. Seller, the average is 251, and here's what we found that we're working to create: an auction effect. And the
Cut
auction
out.
effect. What's that?
You cut out right after you said 251.
Yes, we were trying to create, Mr. Seller, an auction effect. And
Okay.
so that means, Mr. Seller, we want to price this a little bit below. In fact, I've heard some top agents talk about 5 to 10% below
Well,
average. I've gotten that aggressive, and so I would share that I might take it down to, at this price range, maybe down to 245.
well,
And Mr. Seller's going, what? Are you stupid? No, Mr. Seller, we need people through the door, over the threshold of this house, not just looking on the web. We need to go, okay, here's the question for older people. Who remembers the Kmart Blue Light Special?
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, we got hit. Okay, so I mean, Oreos are 2 for $3 on the end cap. Over here, blue light.
Mhm.
You go grab the Oreos just like Charmin toilet paper today.
Yeah.
So at that point, the seller needs to go, wow. Let's see, I heard the fuzz on that. So when you're shopping at Walmart, do you tend to look for the similar product close by to what you're looking for to see the rollback tag? Tell me if you do.
Yeah.
It depends on the product.
Yeah. It depends.
That's true. That's right. But you do tend to look and go, it's the generic, the rollback, whatever. So that's what they're looking for. I tell Mr. Seller, this is just like Walmart. Sorry to tell you, your $250,000 house is just like Walmart. That's the way people shop. So if we price it a little aggressively, now here's 2 answers to that question, because this is all in dealing with the CMA. So Mr. Seller says, dude, he might say, what if I don't get offers for 45? I don't get offers for 235 or 230 or something.
Hmm.
Well, Mr. Seller, the market, meaning the buyers, is, we could call it objective or subjective, either one, but they're kind of objective because they're going, well, based on what I've seen is available, this house looks just as good as that one, and they're priced at $10,000 more. And I can say $10,000. Huh. Which do you think they would buy? They're going to buy the cheaper one, aren't they?
Yeah.
If it's a comparable house, yeah.
By the way,
Yeah, if it's the same.
so here's a key question. For every $1,000 difference in the price of a house, how much is that on the monthly mortgage payment? Anybody?
$10.
About $5.
How much?
5.
Okay.
And so when when they go, well, I kind of like this 250, but that 240 looks attractive too. But I do like some features, and it looks cleaner and so forth. I can tell you're taking the eyes. Okay. So, Mr. Buyer, you know what? For that extra 10,000, it's $50 a month, and you're going to live here for 10 or 20 years, aren't you?
Mm.
All right. So that's where it goes, Mr. Seller. If you only get offers for 245 and that's it, okay. That's telling what they're finding is out there. But you really wanted to probably price it at 255 or 260. And it depends upon the features of the house and what a nice finish out it is and what nice floors and appliances and so forth. Because remember, hey, Mr. Seller, I know that this guy got 283. Let's go look at the 283. And I'm going to show you why that cloud CMA can come in here very handy. So let's go at that. And so you're probably going to want to have your computer there. By the way, today you're going to use Zoom with your buyers and sellers, aren't you?
Yeah.
Aren't you?
Yeah.
I've done that for years. I've done that almost for as long as I could get it. Probably 12 or 13 years I remote connection to save time and money. All right, so Mr. Seller, let's go look at Tuscarora and go, let's see, Sarah's here. Let me move this around. Here.
Well,
There we go.
that's a new construction. Are we going to use that as a comparable?
Oh, you know the answer to that. But the point is, even if this were a viable candidate that had been lived in, we're going to go, okay, Mr. Buyer, is this comparable to your house? Okay, you can tell. But bottom line, we're going to look at the pictures, aren't we? To be clear, John, we're not going to use that, right?
Right. That's what I was saying. I was just trying to say it's not going to give you. I don't think it's going to give you pictures to compare.
Correct, but that's what you're going to do, and you're also going to go look at these details too on the property description. So that's what you're going to do to go, does your house, Mr. Seller, look as good as this? Righto? All right, so that's also why you're not going to use theirs, because their prices are going up every 2 weeks, it seems, at the new home builder, right?
Oh,
Yeah.
wow.
Yes, they are. Okay, so it's a pity you can't knock them out here, but oh well. All right, so Mr. Seller, yeah, you only get offers for 245. The market's telling you that's all. Now, going, oh my gosh. And so you go, would you like to burn 20 hours on doing a listing? That's the typical number. For him to go, I won't accept an offer for somebody has their audio on, and you may want to mute it because there's some background. Do an Alt-A or something. Nope, keep going. Laura, thank you. Okay, maybe that did it. I don't know. So the point is, Mr. Seller, if that's all they offer, you're the boss and you can turn it down. But now here's a selfish question. No, it's called a reasonable business question. Is that, Mr. Seller, if you only get an offer for 245, are you going to take it or not? Would you like to go through 20 hours worth of labor to find out he won't even reduce his price down to what the market says? Nope. Nope, I'm not. I'm not the right guy for you, sir. All right, so I'm going to show you something, though, that he's going to need. And apparently, I'm going to go do this. you're going to need to know how to do a seller's net sheet. A seller's net sheet, since we're still in the seller business. Well, here's one for one of my clients out in Weatherford. And he's thinking. So doesn't a seller want to know, how much am I going to make on this at that price? Won't that in fact affect his judgment about will he have enough down payment to put down on the next house? Does it? Shouldn't we ask him those questions now? Where are you moving to? What price range you're looking at? What are you hoping you'd make on this property? And so some of my first questions are going to be, in fact, I'm going to show you an interview that I'm going to use with the seller before I list their home, but I'll get to that in a moment. All right. Well, where'd you go? There you are. Okay. Let me kill these two. They're robbing my horsepower at the moment. I've got maxed out RAM. I've got 8 gig of RAM, but for some reason, it's just a little slow. Okay, so here's the point. So $279 is the projected sales price. And if we project out a month of closing, this spreadsheet I'll send to you as well. It's from Old Republic. So here, let's project out that we're going to close in a month. Or 5/21, I should say. So May is there, and then the 21st is there. And then the property taxes. Oh, wait. 50 cents goes to the first person who could tell me where we found the property taxes for this joint. He's not. I can see you saying something, but I'm pretty sure you said realist. Bingo, you're right. You're muted on anyway.
Yeah, realist is what I said.
Good job, man. I was reading your lips. Okay. All right. So then the title policy. Where do we find how much the title policy is? Well, it's on sheet 2 of this. And if it was, call it 270,000, then it's 1751. Those are state regulated insurance rates. What is a title company? It's a state licensed insurance company designed to ensure a clear deed, isn't it? So there's 1751. And then I went ahead and put in home warranty. And he said, I don't want to buy anybody a warranty. I hate home warranties. And then I said, okay, but I sold this house to him 5 years ago. And he's already got the principal, or the principal, the balance, down to 28,000. Isn't that great? It's also because he was putting $1,000 a month onto his normal. All right, so then here's the normal number for the title company. So that 220 down to 69 is the normal. Well, I did that wrong. But there up to there is the title company. And that includes the 1751 that came from up here. So it forwarded that number down there. And then I tell them, and here's the great big old number that you're paying me to market or negotiate for you. And by the way, even though that's 6%, meaning for me and 3% for the other agent, I really in effect keep 1% as a net profit after I pay taxes and overhead to brokerage and technology and stuff. I just kind of break it out like that. And then here's the tax prorations, which is why we needed to put a date to close on. And so it will take that 6387 there and go, okay, that's how much you have to pay year to date based on closing date of May 21st. Questions? You're good, guys? All right. And go ahead.
How often should we try to get these numbers updated? Like the title policies. I mean, is that released once a year? Is that those figures?
Yes.
Okay.
There's a lot of apps out there that will keep it updated. I love the spreadsheet. I keep the spreadsheet. It'll be off 2% or something on the sheet. But when anybody's challenged me, the max I've ever been off is like $100 to $200.
Okay.
And so they go close to that. All right. So the net cost. You mean, in fact, this particular guy, Kerry, trust me, and I put his house on the market. He's going, you mean it's going to cost me $22,000 to sell my house? Yep. Sure is. So there's his balance that came down, the 28,000. There's the cost, the 21,941. And so, and Carrie, you're going to walk away with 229,000 and a half. Is that enough to get you where you want to go is the key question. True. All right, so now, and we need him to answer that question. Mr. Seller, are you willing to sell at what the market will offer you? Or down to what point? Let's establish the parameters before we burn 20 hours of our time. Don't you agree? All right, so then the next thing, let's see, hang on just a sec. You can't touch your face anymore, you know that? Okay. So this is essential. When I'm doing a CMA for a seller, I am always going to do a net sheet. So I'll send you mine, but you can find lots of stuff out there that will do this on an app. Oh, let's go back to the point then. All right, so Mr. Seller, if you get an offer for $245, oh wait, you've got multiple offers. Mr. Seller, that's what we were trying to achieve, is the auction effect. And that means that, Mr. Seller, you've got offers from maybe 240 to 260. Then now we're going to use two magic terms. We're going to sprinkle magic fairy dust on this and we're going to go back to the people off on your property and all the people that showed your property. You can do that through showing time and send notes back out to all the people that looked at that property and go, well, number one magic term, we have multiple offers. This is your multiple offer notification. And then number two magic phrase is, your final and best offer is due by Monday at noon. In fact, you'll ask why that. Because we're going to go back and ask those same questions in that Word document I showed you for the lender. True? We want to know what's cooking before I accept this high offer that has a crappy lender. In fact, I've told lenders before, on the basis of you not having hard copies of pay stubs, bank statements, tax returns, and maybe run an automated underwriting, verified debt to income ratio, and do they have the money to close, to pay down payment and closing costs? Because we're not. My seller is not offering closing costs today. On the basis of that, your buyer is disqualified. You have until 4 p.m. to get me the stuff and show me you did the hard work. Does that sound too harsh? Come on, ladies, tell me, is that too harsh? John might agree with me. Okay, well, she's smiling anyway.
I said a little bit, yeah.
Yeah, well, it's true. How about you burn 20 hours?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, they want to get paid for their time.
Bingo, right? Yep. So I'm very straight. I try to be tactful. Sometimes I put my text in the other room and go, "Are you stupid?" No, I never say that. Okay. But bottom line, you want to protect your time because your time and your knowledge is all you have. isn't it? It's all you're selling. All right, so we've done this. Now let's go back and go back to our matrix, and we're going to go to single line display there at the top. Now let's use the other version. We got an hour left. Does anybody need to go to the bathroom? You just wander off if you need to. All right, so now we're going to use Cloud CMA, okay? So we've already done all of our selection. We've highlighted all of them or got rid of any of them that don't apply. And of course, we might get rid of that guy, just to your point, John. And there may be others, but I'm not going to deal with it right now. I told you what to do. Now we're going to click on Cloud CMA. So by unselecting it, Cloud CMA will not pick up on that one that I've deselected. Good? Okay, I'm going to move this back up. Okay, good. Got that. All right. So Cloud CMA is a free app that normally costs 20 bucks a month, by the way. But not for us. MedTech says, but for us. Let's see if I, well, that's not actually where I wanted it. Put it over here. But here we're going to do John Harrelson. All right. Now back over here is it's also, if it doesn't automatically select real estate, just backspace and it forces it to go out again. Now for some reason it's not showing that specific house. Why is that? Because normally if it found it, and it may just still be too new, then it would normally populate all of this stuff for us. But that's okay, we're still going to use it. What was that, 11731?
11733.
11733.
If you keep typing the address, it eventually pulls it up in there.
Are you saying it does that in Cloud CMA?
Yes, sir. Yeah, if you it's drive, just DR, not spelt out, and then comma, Fort Worth, comma, and by the time you get to Texas, it actually pulls up the address.
You know what? I also see that it's Austin. Let's go try that again. Fort Worth.
And then do comma after Fort Worth. There you go, top one.
You demand. First of all, I missed that it was Austin. Isn't that helpful? Let me put that over here. Good. And you notice it did pull in the square footage. Way to go, John. You are just one of the top dogs out there. All right, so the beds, just for value, do you know what the bed and bath count was, John?
It's 4 bedroom, 2.5, 2 bath.
2.5 yay or 2?
2.5.
All right. And by the way, we want to put a cover photo if we can get it. So where would you get the cover photo? You might. I'm going to assume, let's see, let me do another matrix. Can you find this under, by the way, history is where you can tell complete history on something. So you remember we talked about days on market and cumulative days on market? That's where you can find out true history. But it didn't. So you know what that told me that it wouldn't come up under the search criteria for history? Is that it was sold directly from one of two sources. from a sales counselor at D.R. Horton, or number two, from an investor directly to the current owner.
Yeah, she bought it
Buy
new
that?
She bought it new construction, so it was from the builder.
Right. So at this point, we have no history of this guy. But it's important to know that investor thing. Okay. So, oh, here's the other thing you might do. It might have somehow gotten out there on forum or whatever. So I'm just going to do a Google on that property. It comes up with the satellite. There's your sign, as they say. But I'm going to give it a shot, one more shot, because I do want to get a picture just so it looks pretty on the Cloud CMA. But if I can't, I can't. Nope. And it says off contract and all that stuff. Anyway, so skip the picture. But you always could do that, the satellite view if you wanted, that we could have gotten. So you'd have put that in right there. So next, watch this. Down here at the bottom of this screen, when it thinks, there we go. So those are all the MLSs, excluding the one I unchecked, which was the brand new guy. So that's a goner. Let's see. I'm going to get rid of it. I'm going to leave him up. Okay. Just a moment. Just a moment. Okay. So now you could do this quick and dirty thing, but it doesn't come close to what we're trying to explain here about how to do that. Then in the upper right corner, do you see fetch listings in the green? So we're going to click on that. By the way, I did take an 8-hour course in Cloud CMA. So this, and I'm going to show you the strength of this. So it's fetching that data from the MLS right now. So you can format this many different ways and put your biography and so forth. And again, use the Market Center for any values or numbers of going, I work with a large team. Maybe it's called the Market Center, or maybe it is a team. But making a good bio is important to tell them who you are. Let's see. Okay, we got those guys all the way over there for some reason. Normally it centers it. I'm going to pull it to the center. And I'm going to hit a couple of pluses on it. Just to show Mr. Seller, those reds are solds. And so we picked directly, probably within 3 or 4 blocks of your house, where your house is. Now normally it should show a purple guide showing where your house is. Something looks a little squirrely here, but hey, what the heck. If you hover over it, you can actually click on it and it will show you more details. Like there's that one. For some reason it's a little bit off. I'm going to pull it over there and leave it there. All right, so then you can customize report. I'm going to skip that right now to save a little bit of time. And so you can tell what pages you want on that report. I'm going to go straight to publish. And so there's a thing I've got on here. Let's see, I'm going to go back over here to this. While the cloud is working, Still thinking. He does take a little bit of time to format stuff, but usually 30, 60 seconds me. So I've got stuff prepped, and I'd be happy to send that to you if you go, I need that Cloud CMA. Cloud CMA is going to be for those that want to compare, is the condition, you remember that question I posed earlier? Is the condition of your home serve comparable to these? Where did you come from? Get out of here. Okay, come on. My computer's messing with me. You still thinking? Aha. All right, so there's John Harrelson. So this triple dot up here will allow you to copy the PDF link or the slideshow. The slideshow works really well on iPads and touch-sensitive screens. Either will work, or you can simply email the report from here. So at this point, what I'm going to do is click the slideshow. So I'm going to show it to him right there on my computer. And by the way, would you leave all this detail with him, like on the Cloud CMA? I would not. It's a lot of work that he may just take to somebody else. In fact, by the way, that's one of my first questions when I'm talking to a potential listing is, are you interviewing somebody else? Like, and he says, yeah, I'm going to interview 8 people or 3 people or whatever. And is that, okay, great. Are any of the friends, neighbors, or relatives? And this is what I learned from a guy that's running a 15-member team in Atlanta years ago, actually. Zach Pasmanak, how's that for a name? And he said, you know, if any one of them have a friend, neighbor, or relative that's a realtor, he's going, well, good luck with that. And I hope they serve you well. See ya. Yep. Because all they're trying to do is gather strategy, detail, marketing concepts, what he's going to do. Is he going to do open houses, etc.? Is he going to do the great command, the KW command marketing that we have? It's far better than what an individual can do by himself, by the way. We've proven that. Okay, so there's comparative market analysis. So we're going to start on that. Now you'll notice in the lower right corner, there's it's sitting across the office from me here. So you're going to click that right arrow, and you can still manipulate this. Actually, no, you can't. Not on the slideshow. I don't know why that one's screwed up. I think maybe because it can't find it well or something. So there's 5 listed sold homes, 1 brand new one. Okay, we got another brand new one. But the key is when it has a down arrow, is that it's going, okay, show me some more detail. So it's showing the normal builder junk. And if there's a down arrow that's still alive, it'll show you more stuff. Okay, good, fine. When it's dull, you go to the right and go to the next sold. This will be another one. Let's go see if it is. Okay, brand new. Brand new. Aha! So now, Mr. Seller, is your house, or is this house comparable to your house? And so this is where you're going to make it very easy for them to see the competition to selling their home. See what I'm saying? This is the competition that just sold. You can also do this with the actives, because those are direct competition, right? Direct competition. So as you take them through a virtual tour of those homes, and there's more photos, you can click on that as well. Nice pictures, nice lighting. we do have a professional photographer that we use as well. And of course, they're using some of the builder stuff as well. And by the way, anytime you can get a floor plan during the listing, grab it. You need to put it on there. All right, so there's another one. Let's go see if that's new build. So bottom line, what was, oh, wait, that was a lot there. Did we only have 1 out of 5 that was in fact a pre-owned home? Yes, we did. That is true. So what that means is we need to go further out. So let me show you the point then. Because we don't want to compare against those guys. So although there was 12 here, I'm going to go back to the map, and I'm going to go corner of that circle, and I'm either going to do one of two things. Number one, let's see, let me move this. I'm going to do this. There you go. I'm going to hit the red circle, and I'm going to click on delete. And then I'm going to use the polygon tool. See this kind of crooked guy up here at the top? Do you see draw polygon? So I'm going to click him. I'm going to start here. I clicked once on my mouse pad. I clicked once here. Now let me draw a direction. I'm going to click once there, left there, click there, go up here, click there, and I'm going to end up and click once more connecting the blue. You'll have to practice at this. And by the way, I should show you this. And there is my contact info myself. So if you go, John, didn't quite catch that, or I have questions about how to do it, give me a call and we'll do a Zoom, right? And it might not even cost you a lunch. But
right now you probably don't want lunch together, do you?
Oh yeah, I've been to everywhere. All you do is go to the drive up walkie-talkie, tell them what you want. You can walk up there. That's what I've been doing. I go ahead and park because I'm going to eat at one of the outside tables, Dairy Queen or wherever, and I'll do the walkie-talkie thing. Then I walk up to the window and pick up my stuff and go sit down in the patio. And with my friend that's six feet apart. I feel good with that. Okay, so never mind. All right, so now we've just covered that whole territory, right? So now your job will be to do is go build. Results and click through each of those holds to find out what's new and what's not. And I'll bet you remember how to do that because you're going to go, you select them all, then you do print, and then you do preview with full agent, I think it was called, agent full, and preview. You with me on that? That way you can scope through all of them very quickly to figure out, okay, get rid of that one, that one, that one. Yes? This is kind of a unique situation here, but part of the point is, now, let's say we've got that subdivision covered. That's going to be our best comps out of that subdivision. Okay, so what are we going to do? If we cannot find a good at least 5 or 6 comps, then we are going to go back in time. Sometimes I do it very gradual. I might see the 180 over here in sold. I might go back to 10. That's 7 months. Right? 240 is 8 months. You get the idea, just 30 down, right? And so back in time, and so in fact, what's the numbers in the lower left corner, 14. If I go back 270, as soon as you put a number in there, it will change. After you hit your tab key, and it moves. So there is called 100. Oh, 15. So you get the idea. It's very interactive on how many matches you got. Because bottom line, you need to find 5 or 6 that were not brand new. That is not a good comparable, and an appraiser will not do that. Questions? All right. Have I lost anybody completely? Or partially? Anybody? Okay. Well, there's my contact information. I don't guarantee results, but through sheer persistence, we will get results, okay? Because it took me several times too. I'm just saying, I may ride this short school bus to work, but I'm persistent. All right, so that's the function that we're going to chase there. Okay, go, Laura.
Okay, you got to Cloud CMA. Was it at the bottom of the Netris screen?
Yeah. So for example, when we hit results, then we've got all of our stuff that we're looking at here, and then we select it up here in the upper left corner. You select them all,
Yeah.
and then go to cloud.
Okay, got it.
And I'll bet there's some good training videos online that you need to take. I spent 8 hours in Granbury, Texas. I hope I ate Abe's that day. I'm not sure. I don't know if Abe's was down there at that time, but it is now. So that's worth pursuing, because this is a clear way, instead of just shooting numbers at your client, now you're showing him pictures.
Yeah.
And data, right? So that's where the Cloud CM comes in to do comparison, particularly when the seller is wanting to highball the thing and go, well, mine is certainly worth as much as that new home at 280 because my grass is already green and I've already painted custom colors and blah, blah, blah. Well, that's nice, but the appraiser will not see it that way. But even if it wasn't a brand new home that we're comparing against, but it was high quality, he's still going to chase high. But what we need to do is show him we know what we're doing here on comps, and that the auction effect is vital today. And by the way, let's talk about COVID-19.
Yeah.
Right now, we've put 3 more houses on the market in the last 2 weeks, I think. And so what we do is we tell the seller, you know, if you're home and there's a showing coming up, I'm going to tell, and I'm going to have as part of the listing, I'm going to have it noted on the listing that all the doors will be open, might even do all the kitchen cabinets open. Whatever needs to be open that you don't want them to touch, open. And tell them I'm going to have all the lights on. In fact, I might even stay there. Some sellers do. I know most of the time he goes to leave building in the country or something. But in that case, if it's a nice seller and he actually has people skills, you might want him to tell what I've done or not done or sold or, repaired, etc. But at any rate, the key is that to the buyer's agent, all you're going to have to do is touch the front doorknob and open it, and the front doorknob and close it and lock it. All the doors will be open, all lights will be on, you guys don't have to touch anything. And then after they leave, I might go through with my Lysol and touch and work the kitchens, doorknobs, counters, whatever you're comfortable with. How's that?
Yeah.
And so people are still out there looking, because I'm still out there showing buyers. In fact, we're just getting a contract for $399,000 under contract today. And so my buyers would hang back, John, can you touch this? Can you open that? Can you open that kitchen cabinet, etc.? Okay, no problem. I took a napkin along with me. I took Lysol with me. I took more paper towels with me. And so I touch whatever they want. I just spray it, wipe it, open it. So we don't want to put anybody at risk. I mean, if you've got masks, wear masks if you want to look more impressive. Keep your distance and all that stuff, right? Any questions about the COVID? I'm serious about that. You know, we don't want anybody to come down with the virus that can put you down eternally or short-term. Questions? No? All right. Yep, just be cautious, use some common sense, follow the directives that they've given us. Let's see. So right now we've got 3 minutes. Let's go over to that land deal. But before we, is there any questions using the CMA, Cloud CMA? Not saying
what does that TCP stand for on where, I guess, is it garage, carport, and what is that TCP?
It's whether you've been a methamphetamine lab before. I'm just kidding. Because you know the new seller disclosures do ask as a methamphetamine.
Yeah. Is that like covered patio or something like that?
No, I'm just messing with you. Okay, I'll get back to serious. All right, so garage is the first thing, so it's 2. TCP carport, which is 0. So your total covered parking is 2.
Okay. So it's garage, carport, and then total covered parking. Okay.
Right.
Got it.
Okay, cool. Question. You know what, though? I will show you this. There's realist tax on this particular one. I should use this more myself, okay? Just saying. There's the map on just this one, but that's the map for all of them. And here's the history on just this one. So if you ever wonder, why has it been on market so long? There you go. You can, from right here, go straight to that. And I haven't really paid a lot of attention to these icons, but it could be pretty darn helpful. And here you could just go straight to the view photos. In fact, on the view photos, down here in the lower right corner, okay, well, it's not a great example, but what the heck. Down here in the lower right corner, you'll see the play arrow that says slideshow in the lower right. It will automatically go and next. Hey, just saying, learn that one day. Or for that matter, show me all the months. Tricks of the trade, eh? Okay, so no questions on cloud or quick CMA?
No.
Just going to have to mess with it more and get more comfortable with it.
Yeah.
Oh boy, if there's one thing you want to get comfortable with, that you need to be the expert of dealing with that. Oh, so you remember the 2 magic phrases that we're aiming for with our auction effect, Mr. Seller, by pricing lower. We want lots of people in. We want them to stumble over each person. We want the buyer's agent to be holding them out while you get out, you know, from the previous buyer, 6-foot distance. And so we want them to see people want my stuff. And so agents, we have multiple offer notification. Your final offer is due in the middle of the day so that I have time to call the lenders on you. That's pretty darn important. Okay, so let's do one now on lots and acreage. Well, okay, let's go back. Okay, who was it that had the house on acreage?
That'd be me.
Okay, hit me with an address.
Sir,
What's the address?
it's 103 Blue Ridge Drive, Weatherford.
Like that? Okay. Where?
Weatherford.
Okay. So,
Let's see. It is 76088.
getting a little bit of feedback. What I'm going to do, go ahead, everyone except her mute, because I think it may be slowing down with the bandwidth. Okay, so let's go play that one.
And then
Okay, I shouldn't have put on mute because I love feedback. I was going to say to you, okay, somebody out there guide me what to do, but it takes too much bandwidth, so I'm just going to go at it. Okay, so we're going to go to search quick. And we're going to paste it up here in the very top box. And it's thinking, and there it is. And we're going to go ahead and throw a mile on it for fun. How much acreage is on this about?
12 acres, 12.48, I believe.
Okay, cool. 12.8 acres. We're just going to do, I'm going to do a 5+ for the feel of it. All right, so now let's go to step 2, realist. Boy, am I hungry. I usually wear a sign on my chest when I do these seminars. I work for food. Oh, gosh. All right. I kill him. Oh my gosh, I did it. I screwed up. I didn't realize I was closing. I didn't realize I was closing my phone. Bad mojo. Okay, just for fun, do you know what the square foot and of the house and the age of the house?
Yes, it's 2,854 square foot, and it was built in 2005.
You said 2000. 2000. And what was the square? I'm sorry, the square foot again.
2864.
All right. Okay. Somebody tell me age range would go for here. Just a guess.
3 plus or minus?
If it were built 2010 or later, yes.
Okay.
At this point, I would say, and by the way, this isn't art and science, and so sometimes I just work until I find good comps that fit the age. But right now, this baby's 15 years old, right? Mm-hmm. So I might say on the year, I might say 5 plus and minus, and on this, now I'm going to go more towards 400 plus or minus square foot. Okay.
Okay.
Sometimes just kind of edge it up as it goes. All right. So now let's see. Let's get that. Whatever. Oh, here's the point. When you don't have any data here, check all of your active and coming soon boxes over here. You're pending 0 to 90, you're sold at 0 to 180, and then go over here and hit your gear box and click the top box. Cool?
Yeah.
So, and you see default criteria is set. All right, so let's paste that back in there. That. I'm going to go ahead and do 4 or 5 miles for fun here. And I'm going to do the 5 acres here. And then on the square footage, we're going to do that 2864 plus or minus. What would that look like? We would go, let's say, just to, not to be too nitpicky here, but I'm going to do 2464 and do it to, oh, somebody help me. I think 3240.
24. I mean, 3264.
Okay, could be. All right. So we're going to take that, paste that over there. Paste. Okay, how about the year bill? We're going to do a, tell me what the year bill would be. The year.
2000 to 2010.
Very good. All right. So, hey, we got 224 matches. Is that weird or what?
That's very weird. In Weatherford? I mean,
I'm
that's out in the
telling
middle of
you.
nowhere. Like,
Wow, that is interesting. 224. Now we got
oh,
five.
no.
I have
There
no
we
idea.
go. That makes more sense.
Say that again.
So that makes more sense. I see 5.
All right. Yeah, I don't know why it did that. But here's the key that I'm always looking for, where it says map area selected when it turns red.
Mhm.
It knows for sure it found it. If it's not red, it's confused. And so you just kind of go to the end, back up over the zip code a little bit, make it go look again. Even the USA, stuff like that.
Mhm.
Okay, so we'll just go with that. All right, so cool. Now let's go see what we got on the results in this case. Normally I'd go to map, but results, I need to see what acreage I'm getting. So there you get 13 acres, 10, 10, I'm sorry, 109. All right, so here's what I'm seeing. Is I would do the value based upon the house, and then I'm gonna go to find out what the dirt is.
Mhm.
So, for example, let's come back over, well, let's do a right click, duplicate. I'm just gonna see, I know you're gonna see the benefit here. Right click, duplicate, and now we wanna go search for dirt. Quick. And the first time you do that, go in and set up all of your stuff. Dirt, I've got it 365 because it often takes longer to sell. And then look like your gaps up there, okay?
Okay.
So you notice it says, what's that?
Oh, you're good.
All right. So I lost my address there.
103 Blue Ridge.
Here. My goal is to never type and I can paste. All right, get that. Okay, so I'm gonna go this, since I'm just gonna work. Yeah, since I'm just gonna work on dirt, I'm gonna go out maybe 10 miles even. Yep, we're going big now. Go big or go home. And here, we're gonna go, let's say 5 to 15 acres. So I'm gonna do kind of some plus and minus on the acreage. You said acres, was it?
12, about 12 and a half acres, 12 acres.
Okay, so 12 and a half acres. Okay, got that. So I'm probably gonna do a bit bigger even. Let's just see what's out there first. Oh, you notice it says no map selected. So that means it's gone a little stupid. And you go to the very end with your arrows, back one over zip code. Come on, I know you can do it. There you go. And you select again. Now you see it turns red. Now it's real, right? Okay, so let's do something like, I don't know, 16 and, whoops, and 8. So I'll do 4 plus minus. So I'm looking at the 54 matches. Wow. Okay, so I'll just do 14 and 10. 38 matches. Son of a gun. I wouldn't even guess there'd have been that many. Okay, so here's what we're going to do, is we're going to go down to maybe like 3 or 5 or something. Okay. So you can see sometimes it's just a little bit of messing around. There's only 4. And 4. That's right. I'm just messing around now. Okay. Well, that's close enough. Let's see what the results are. And by the way, we might have to nail down, see the property type over here, land residential. We'll also have to consider that. Oh, look at that. You notice that there's 5 acres and 1 sold.
Mm-hmm.
Isn't that interesting? But here at least you see it's all residential except for that sold on the farm. See that one?
Yeah.
All right, so we probably, here's what I'm thinking. And they couldn't be willing to sell that farm as residential,
Mm-hmm.
do an ag thing and so forth. We kind of just need to look at it and see the details. All right, so excellent location, Peaster, blah, blah, blah. I've sold in Peaster. I'm keeping my minerals, buddy. I'll fight for it right there. You see that?
Yes.
Oh, I know. Oh, that's okay. So hard to say what they're going to do with that, but you know what? It looks like that they could build, doesn't it? Because there's houses all on both sides.
Mm-hmm.
So they're probably buying it for a build. I might leave it in for that point then. So here goes. And it's probably got utilities pretty close by. So now we're going to select it and go to quick CMA. Okay, here's a land job.
Now, did you set that up to where it saves, or are you manually doing that? Because mine doesn't do that.
It should always automatically put you once you tell it quick CMA. Only after you click quick CMA will it say, where do you want me to save it and what do you want me to name it? Can you try that again, sir?
Mine's not doing that. It just goes straight to the CMA.
Huh. I can't think right off, John, that there's no parameters that I'm aware of that you can set it to do that. So ultimately, you might just have to do a file save as on the one that popped up with its own.
Yeah, mine gives me the little download or print up top, and I guess you can just save it from there.
Yeah, that's my best suggestion right now. I can give you a phone number to the Netris guys that manage the Matrix machine and go, hey, what's up with this? This guy does, mine doesn't. Okay, so what's that? What's that, John?
Oh, no, I said okay.
Okay, so what is the average cost per square foot here on this report?
Let's see. I don't know. I'm not saying it. Is it the quick statistics at the bottom?
Is it the 17,002? I can't see it. 17,322.51.
Yeah.
There you go. Now, you've noticed this, I know already, that we're working only on the active. We really sold, don't we? But it does give you a sense of what stuff's going for. Like I said, we run 12 to 18,000, where it's not in a real big subdivision where they want the bucks. So right now, that farmland, he's running at about 9,000 bucks,
Wow.
right? Because he sold for 90,000 bucks, and he's 10 acres, so that makes sense, right?
Yeah.
So right now, a good enough fill for what we're doing. He's going to be cheap, and these guys are going, hey, here's the rate we think. Okay, that's a loose feel. I'm just saying it is best to always get sold, but I just know those numbers are pretty darn close. So even if we took 18,000 bucks as that, okay, so you take that times, I'll give you an old home place since it's 12.5 acres. We'll say we gave an acre since it's out in the country of Clifford. We'll say, okay, an acre came with it, probably. Well, here's where I'm going. 11 acres times 17, 322, or 18. So you figure that out. Anybody give me that number?
I have a quick question, John. Because I have like looked at their tax records, and there's a tract of land with about 6 acres that the house is built on, and then a separate tract of land with 6 acres. Would those be priced differently?
I think what I just heard you say is that there's another one that has 6 acres and another one that has how many acres?
6. There's just 2 separate tracts of land that got bought together, one with a home on it and then one not.
So you said, I got a little garble on that for some reason. So you said that there's one with 6 acres that is just pure dirt. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. And then another plot that has a house with land on it. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
The total acre.
And the one with the house on it had 2 acres?
No, sir. It has, hold on. Where is it? A little over 6 acres.
Okay, so the one with the house on it has 6 acres, and then there's one with just a lot that's 6 acres, correct?
Yes.
Okay. So, and that's the objective of what we're doing right now. So, for example, we've said, okay, this is the one where we're dealing with a house, okay?
Okay.
This is the one that we're dealing with pure dirt, true?
Yes. Yes.
All right, so make a note, it's worth 18,000 bucks an acre, right? Okay,
Okay.
now what we're gonna do is come back over here, if it'll let me, come on. There, all right, cool. So now we're gonna go back in here, I'm gonna get rid of that criteria of the acres. You're gonna see that we're gonna do 2 side by side, one with house on a normal lot, right, so far?
Yeah.
And they're gonna do one with the acreage and take like 11 times 18,000. What is that?
Okay.
So we've got the numbers right now for the house correct, and we're gonna bring it down to a much smaller thing. Let's say half a mile radius. We got 0 match. Let's do a mile. And normally you might go to a mile and a half or so before things get hairy. So 1 match. Because you are definitely out in the country there. Here's the 2 variables that you're going to play a bit, maybe 3 really. One is your map search and the mile radius, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Number 2 variable is your square foot. That's a pretty good size range for that square foot. And the year build is just by gut feel. I'm going to go, okay, let's do 1995 from the 2005 that it was built at. And then I'm going to do 2015. 10 years plus and minus, correct?
Yes.
Wow. And you know what? We're still not getting much, are we? And then I might start going out to about 270. There's your 4th variable right there. Of how far back we go back for the sold date. Oh, we got 8 matches. By the way, did you know the appraiser has to do the same thing we just did?
Oh, really?
He's working with the same data we are. All right, so let's look at gold. And so now we go, and so we're just working on pure house at this point. Now here's the challenge. You notice that over here in acres, and I clicked on acres at the top to sort it by small to large, is that this guy, he's only 1.5 acres, okay, but everyone else is going up, 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 up.
Mhm.
So here's the challenge when you're dealing with houses like in the rural, is that you might have to go, okay, let's see, we're going to have to take off based on our $18 an acre. We're going to have to do some intense work. If you were really good on Excel, this would be a really good time to do it. So here's the point, is that we're dealing with the proper age and size range, but now we got all these acres going on, and you can see that they're running up here into the 400, the low 400s, up 405, all the way up to Yahoo, right?
Yeah.
But hey, we also see that the bucks climb with directly related to the acreage. Do you see that?
Yes.
There's your hint right there. So, for example, here's what I'd say. Let's do the math. So there's 1534. Okay, you just done the math on. Well, let's stick it right there. Quit that. All right. So there's 1534, and we've also said 18,000 an acre, right? So now we might go, let's boil it down to find the value of the house. So if it's, do the math for a calculator there. Do you have a calculator there?
Yes, I'm sorry, you broke up. Do the math on what?
Yeah. So take 18,000 times 15.34.
$276, $120.
Or 226, 120. Okay, so that is the value of the dirt, right?
Yeah.
Approximately. Okay. So now the price on that is $750. Ooh-wee. So if the total.
All right, 1 second.
Okay, what's that?
473, 880.
Now this is a really a bit of a rough approach, but that's the that we're going to play a moment. And we might do the same thing on that guy. So take 13 to 18.
Okay.